Welcome back to Building Character, where we figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. Join the Patreon to keep the channel alive, and like and subscribe to be less afraid of spiders next time you play. Maybe. Today we're building Amélie Lacroix, also known as Widowmaker. Like the beverage she's named after, Miss Lacroix is a bleak and empty shell of what she used to be. Also like the beverage, she uses a bunch of poison. That's right, Tulok doesn't like Lacroix. Wanna fight about it? Let's start off with our goals for this build. First, we need to be good in the crow's nest, though the crow theme is actually for another member of your team. Don't steal his aesthetic. Next, we need to cheat with wall hacks to pretend like every building is a greenhouse. Finally, we'll make sure that we can get away quickly, even if the cooldown on that is pretty ridiculous. For stats, we'll be using the standard point array from the player's handbook. Roll for stats if you want, just keep your multi-classing minimums in mind. Charisma will be number 1. You used to be a dancer and still have so much creative energy. It's just now being spent on making people's heads explode instead of pirouettes. Dexterity next. Ranged weapons rely on this for damage and accuracy. You're very good at dealing damage and being accurate, if I'm not the one playing you. Sorry folks, I'm not good at Widowmaker. Wisdom after that, if you're gonna see into the top window of King's Row, you need sharp eyes. Follow that up with intelligence. You're using some pretty high-tech toys. Talon really doesn't skip on the requisitions orders. Strength is a bit low. You need to be able to support your own weight, but it's not like you're carrying a giant hammer and will dump constitution. There's a reason Widow hangs out in the shadows. She can get squished like a spider. Widowmaker has an obsession with spiders, a distaste for men, and preference for shadows. That sounds like a stereotypical drow elf, but leaning on racial stereotypes not only perpetuates inherent racial biases that extend back to the Tolkien-esque Eurocentric origins of D&D, but it also makes for pretty boring characters. Even more importantly though, Amélie is a human. She was just tortured until her skin turned blue. Bleak. Custom lineage sounds like a fair compromise. Grab the feat called Shadow Touch for +1 charisma, the invisibility spell to turn invisible until you make an attack, cast a spell, or the hour-long duration expires. I know invisibility is kinda Sombra's thing, but we're really here for Ray of Sickness, a ranged spell attack that deals 2d8 poison damage, forces a constitution saving throw on a creature. Failing that, they're also poisoned until the end of your next turn. Glyph of Warding would let you store this little spider mine, but it takes a minute to cast, so I feel like that's not going to be a super accurate way to have this work. Plus, we have to go pretty deep into a spell list for that, and we probably won't. So that's why we don't get Glyph of Warding. Anyway, you can cast Invisibility and Ray of Sickness once per long rest each, but if you get spell slots later, you can cast them with spell slots. Obviously, this isn't going to have any spell slots, though. Some dude in the comments already typed level 20 assassin. The build is done. Bump your dexterity with your 2 free points. Take athletics for your skill of choice and the entertainer background for acrobatics and performance. You used to be a ballerina. They must have seen you dancing in the sand. We'll kick things off as a rogue. That dude wasn't entirely wrong. You get 4 skills from your rogue list. Intimidation, stealth, sleight of hand, and perception are all useful skills to put on your resume if you want to get hired by Talon. Though, ironically, they recruited you to be a headhunter. Sneak attack will let you really hunt for those heads, adding an extra d6 of damage to ranged attacks when you have advantage on the roll, or an ally shouting die within 5 feet of them. Invisibility is a great way to get advantage on at least one roll. People tend not to notice the enemy team has a widow until someone gets a hole in their head, or if I'm the widow, until 5 shots fly by their face. Expertise lets you double your proficiency bonus with 2 of your skills. Stealth and acrobatics will be a good place to start. Getting grappled isn't good when you have the hit points of a wet napkin. Second level rogues get cunning action, letting you dash, disengage, or hide as a bonus action. It's okay to keep your distance after getting out of a long relationship, especially if that relationship ended because the League of Evil brainwashed you into murdering someone you love. Just be single for a few months. Figure out who you are. Third level rogues can choose a roguish archetype, and assassins can assassinate. That seems pretty fitting. This gives you advantage on attacks against creatures who haven't acted in initiative yet, and any attack against a surprised creature is a critical hit. Pairing that with the 2d6 sneak attack damage basically means you can drop at least one member of the enemy team as soon as the spawn doors open. Aim for Zenyatta, that feels meanest. You get the disguise kit and poisoner kit proficiency. Maybe you want to do a throwback look and put some human pigmentation on your skin. Could be fun. Rogues get study aim thanks to Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. That means you can give yourself advantage on an attack roll as long as you don't move on that turn. A spider doesn't hunt its prey. It builds a web and waits. Also, I mentioned Tasha's Cauldron of Everything like it's new. Can you tell how old this script was? Fourth level rogues get an ability score improvement. We'll actually focus on getting our dexterity up right away. First we get the accuracy, then we get the damage, especially since our accuracy also gives us more damage. Fifth level rogues get uncanny dodge, letting you have damage as a reaction as long as you can see what was causing it. Overall, the best way to take hits is to not take them though. Your sneak attack damage bumps up to 3d6 here. Sixth level rogues get expertise and 2 more skills. Intimidation will help you terrify children, and perception will help you see why they love the taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It's sugar, not that hard to figure out. Seventh level rogues get evasion, letting you take half damage on failed dexterity saves and no damage on success ones, so you should be fine when a rip tire is pulled unless Junkrat is only targeting you. That's not even a good strategy. Why would you do that? 4d6 sneak attack damage to get your revenge if that happens though. 8th level rogues get another ability score improvement, meaning that we can cap off our dexterity modifier for maximum accuracy and plus 5 damage to every single shot. More importantly, this means that we're ready for the best ranged weapon feat in a few levels. Exciting stuff. But first, we get the 9th level assassin's ability, Infiltration Expertise, letting you spend 7 days and 25 gold to establish a new identity for yourself, as long as you're not pretending to be someone specific. It's the worst ability in terms of actual use for a D&D game. For this to be effective, your party has to be cool with waiting a week for the action to start up, and the DM has to give you 7 days to pull it off. Generally, when I'm running a game, I like to have a ticking clock element for my players, like, there's some sort of rush to save the world. And if I'm playing in a game, I'm not going to wait a week of in-game time for a rogue to dress up like a dock worker. I'm going to say, hey, just try a performance check maybe. Your performance is good too, so it would probably work anyway. You get 5d6 sneak attack damage, that's much better. 10th level rogues get another ability score improvement or feat. The sharpshooter feat is very good, letting you fire at max range without disadvantage, ignore all but full cover, and take a -5 penalty to your attack roll to add 10 to the damage roll of an attack. A sneak attack heavy crossbow shot is now 1d10 plus 5d6 plus 15 or 35 damage with average rolls. With a critical hit, you'll be able to take out a clone of you in one hit, which is both a commentary on how much damage you do and how little health you have. Big yikes. 11th level rogues get reliable talent, meaning the lowest you can roll on an ability check you're proficient with is a 10, and then you still get to add the modifiers, meaning you probably don't need invisibility to go without being noticed, and you can probably just roll a performance check to pretend to be someone else. 6d6 sneak attack damage, that's pretty cool. At this point, we're sniping pretty hard. Let's get some more funky abilities thanks to a horrible entity of chaos that has completely taken over our life and made it more spider themed. I think Archfey would be fitting, since I was going back and forth on making you a drow anyway. Fey warlocks get Fey presence, letting you conjure a visage of your patron that either charms or frightens creatures who fail a wisdom saving throw for 1 turn, once per short rest. How do I make this in character? Run to your enemy spawn point, slap some graffiti on the wall outside before the match starts, and then they'll kick things off playing wary of the sniper shots. Frightening. Boom. For your cantrips, True Strike gives you advantage on a weapon attack next round. It's pretty much entirely useless thanks to steady aim, but you do have the ability to slowly scope in, so I'm giving it to the character. Eldritch Blast lets you shoot out 3 spell attack beams that deal 1d10 force damage each, which isn't as much as your sniper, but if you want to get some quick shots off on multiple targets or avoid resistances to piercing damage, this can be a solid option. For your first level spells, Fairy Fire forces a dexterity saving throw on creatures in a 20-foot cube, giving allies advantage on attack rolls against the creatures inside if they fail, and they can't turn invisible. There isn't a way to share your x-ray vision with your team. This is sort of going to work for that. Comprehend languages lets you understand all spoken and written languages, though you won't be able to reply in that language. Still, it lasts for an hour and doesn't require concentration. Could be useful on international missions. 2nd level warlocks get invocations, little perks from Talon that make you a better sniper. Eldritch Spear bumps the range of your Eldritch Blast beam to 300 feet, and Devil's Sight gives you 120 feet of dark vision that works even in magical darkness, so no matter what time you're working, you'll be able to see clearly enough to land the shot. See, Talon is making you a drow. You don't have to start as a drow, Talon's making you one. 3rd level warlocks get a Pact boon, a gift from Talon for sticking with the company, and a Pact weapon is a magical melee weapon you can conjure at will. You don't use those, that's bad. Thankfully, you can swap invocations when you level up, so grab improved Pact weapon, which not only adds 1 to the attack and damage rolls of a Pact weapon, but also adds heavy crossbow to the list of options, so you're more accurate, more deadly, and have a collapsible sniper rifle at all times. That's nice. For this level spell, Spider Climb lets you climb walls and ceilings for an hour depending on your concentration. Dashing up a wall could be a grappling hook, and there is not a lot of options for hanging off a ceiling with your leg wrapped around a grappling hook, so that's probably going to be our best option. 4th level warlocks get an ability score improvement or a feat. The Crossbow Expert feat lets you fire a crossbow at short range without disadvantage. You can ignore the loading property and fire twice in a round, and can fire a shot with a hand crossbow as a bonus action after you take the attack action. So if someone gets close, just spray and pray. It might actually work out. For this level spell, Misty Step lets you teleport 30 feet as a bonus action if you're more interested in the quick getaway option that the grappling hook provides you, rather than the arachnid aesthetic. 5th level warlocks get another invocation. Thirsting Blade lets you attack twice with your action instead of once when you're using a packed weapon. You unfortunately cannot use sneak attack twice in a round, but you can use sharpshooter as many times as you want, meaning 30 damage just from modifiers, 32 with improved packed weapon. Neat. You can also learn 3rd level spells like Fear, forcing a wisdom saving throw on creatures in a 30-foot cone. Failing that, they're frightened of you and have to use their action to dash away. People are afraid of spiders. You used to be when you were a person. 6th level Phaelocks get Misty Escape, letting you teleport 60 feet as a reaction when you take damage, and you become invisible until the start of your next turn. If you want to be cool, go straight up and try and land a trick shot while you're in the air. It won't get play of the game, but you can use it if you ever make a video where you build Widowmaker in Dungeons & Dragons. 7th level Warlock is what we're here for. Ghostly Gaze is an invocation that lets you see through walls and solid objects for a minute, depending on your concentration. It really is the only way to do this in D&D, HP, so if you want to go for more assassin levels at home, I would understand. But you can also learn Dimension Door at this level, letting you teleport 500 feet as an action, which is bigger than the range of a heavy crossbow, so you're almost guaranteed to get out of harm's way if you just zip line out of there. Our capstone is the 8th level of Warlock. We're actually going to scoop up Fighting Initiate for the archery fighting style, adding 2 to your attack rolls with ranged weapon. To explain why, let's head to the pros. Oh, actually, I counted wrong. Our capstone is the 12th level of Rogue for another ability score improvement. Bump that charisma up a little bit for better spells. Now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out how viable this build is. First, you deal extremely consistent damage with +9 to hit, even with a sharp shot, 30 damage per round just for modifiers, and the potential to add on 5d6 sneak attack damage on top of that. You're also very good at getting high ground, with teleportation or wall crawling to put you where you need to be. Finally, you've got really great skills with a huge list of proficiencies pairing with reliable talent to make you a top tier asset for Talon. For weaknesses, Ghostly Gaze isn't very good and stopped us from getting 10d6 sneak attack damage by focusing on Rogue. Stupid Ghostly Gaze. You're also dealing with limited spell slots, meaning you could be praying for a short rest to reset those cooldowns. Finally, you have less than 100 HP unless you rolled really well. Just dump strength at home, never dump constitution if you don't have to. But if someone's going to take you out, they'll need to find you, so murder them before they can get to you. Set up your web, line up your shot, and take your foes down before they even notice the spider on the wall. Just watch out for someone who can block your shots. You might get squished if someone brings the hammer down. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe for more. We're making more videos here. Join the Patreon if you want to support the channel and keep it going. And sub to Tulok and Mango for more Tulok fun.